Greetings and salutations. It's Friday. It's, I don't know, Friday. Oh God, who's that? Who is that? Who? Somebody there. Who's that? Somebody there with a balloon behind his
Oh,
head.
hello. I don't know whether or not, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't actually know whether or not Russ can hear us or not. Russ, can you hear me? Because I
can hear you
we can't hear
perfectly.
you at the moment.
I can hear
but
you
anyway, it's
perfectly.
just gone
What's going
midday.
on? What's
So
going
I'm
on? What's
hoping
going
that
on?
if I carry on talking with a little bit
What
of
are you
luck,
talking
you'll
about?
be able to hear me. Lovely Demisa, can you hear?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
No, well, thank goodness for that.
Pan.
That's
What
all
are you
right, then,
talking
as long
about?
as you can hear us.
Phil,
Not entirely
Phil.
sure what's going on with our Russ, but anyway.
Stop. Why are you doing this? I can hear you perfectly well. What the hell?
Should we keep talking amongst ourselves and hoping he sorts himself?
I don't need to sort myself.
I want to ask Phil about his balloon. Phil, you've got a big blue balloon behind you.
Well, do you know what? One must never boast about the size of one's blue balloon now, lovely Demisa, must we?
Frozen.
Have we? It's all going so well.
I mean, no, on and off. Things freeze. Oh, he's back.
I never went away.
He's here. Hello.
Well, you did.
I never went away, and everything was set as it's been set for the last many years.
Many years?
Yes.
Many years.
Many years.
Using this software program. Anyway, you two kids carrying on. I'm having my coffee.
Gracious me. Well,
what you having?
Good to see you as well, Russ.
Well, it's just very, very, very frustrating when you set everything up, set up the show, done all the banners, sent out all the details, and then, we can't hear you.
But you're here now, so that's what counts.
Hey, so big excitement where I live. Incredible noise going on outside. I mean, what the bloody hell was that? So I look out, and they are cutting the branches of trees to make it much lighter. My view is absolutely magnificent. So I was chatting to them. I always do that. I go out, and they're three tree fellers. But they are three young guys. And, they cut them. Then they've got one of those machines, like in the movie Fargo, where you shove the wood through. Huge, great branches. And it's just turned to pulp. It's fantastic to watch. Very exciting.
And you know what's even more exciting is all of that pulp that it's turned into helps the planet regenerate and grows into new stuff. That's what all the tree huggers would tell you. Isn't that nice?
What do they do with that pulp? Do they turn it into fast food in a fast food restaurant?
I think they put it into rabbit hutches.
I think they make it a burger and say, this is delicious. It's plant-based.
Wood grilled.
Anyway, that was that. And then, where I live. It's very, very quiet.
It's a little burger bar in Barking, I think.
That's the one. That's where I live. And no, that's my dog. And we'll get to saying hello to everybody. Listen to this. This is the definition, I think, of irony. See what you think. So
was it a trunk
there's
call?
Was
it a trunk call?
What with irony?
I don't know. I'll keep going until I find what you like. I'll branch out into further comedy.
So silly.
What? All right, I'll turn over a new leaf.
You're barking up the wrong tree. Now look, where I live is very, very quiet, and there's no traffic problems at all. And everyone who comes over goes, "Oh, I love you to be able to park in the street. So nice because the streets are empty." The council, not long ago said, "We want a discussion. What's the word? Consultation with the." I'm getting to that. About parking restrictions. We go, we don't need parking restrictions. There's no problem. No one's double. It's not like Mill Hill Broadway. There's nobody here, right? No, we've listened to what you say. And I'm going, no, you haven't. Yellow lines, a double yellow line.
Did you tell them twice?
I told them twice. Double yellow lines everywhere now. Comes in September.
Oh, and they've actually put them in now.
Oh, they're there everywhere. So everywhere you used to park when you came over, forget that. That's gone.
Oh, good God.
And pay and display. Oh, yeah. And parking permit only. So I thought, well, it can't be much to park outside my own home, right? It's like 140 quid a year to park outside your own home. So today, there's two guys wearing the high-vis jackets in the lorries from the council doing the painting. And I said, so when does this all start, boys? And they went, well, unbelievable, isn't it? I thought they were going to say, yeah, be all like hoity-toity and you people better go. They just went straight away and went, it's all about money. It's ridiculous, isn't it? They're the guys doing the painting of the lines. That's what they said to me this morning.
I always think it must be fascinating being a line painter.
You think?
Well, just think about it. I mean, like the peak of excitement in your day is probably painting double yellow or double red lines.
It's quite exciting.
Mind you, actually, having said that, I often wonder whether or not how some people they spell. You know how they sometimes spell parking or bus incorrectly or something like. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
I love when they do that.
I think it makes it more interesting.
It's hilarious. Be honest, it's hilarious. I love it. Anyway,
Russ, tell me something about the parking permit.
Yeah.
Where I live, depending on the cubic capacity, the cc of your car, blah blah blah, the charges vary, and which is very sensible. So if you've got a great big 4x4, which obviously is hugely necessary because of the snowstorms and the ice in Stanmore,
the mighty mountains
you pay
of
much
Stanmore.
more than you do with the mountains of Stanmore, but you pay much more to park one of those than you would a little mini like mine.
To be fair, though, most of the people who drive the Chelsea tractors around Stanmore, you'd be forgiven for thinking they're driving off-road anyway with the way they behave. So
there is something about the driving.
There is that. I agree.
It's just bullshit. I don't think they've ever passed their test. You always see some tiny, tiny little woman driving the biggest Range Rover. She hasn't a clue what she's doing. And it's always an emergency because she might need to buy a newspaper. So that means she can triple park, put on the hazard lights, go and do a bit of shopping. You're sitting there like a mug and you can't get past. Or maybe she needs to get her nails done.
Speaking here for my sisters, none of whom have a 4x4, I'd just like to mention men with very, very tiny, I'm not going to say it, who drive great big red sports cars.
Well, I was going to say wallets, but yes.
No. Wallets wasn't nowhere near my thinking, Philip.
What?
Leslie can't help but bring in the word penis to a conversation.
I didn't say it.
Yes, you did. No, having coffee with Leslie. Leslie, do you want some sugar in your coffee? Oh, and a penis, please. It's unbelievable. Every time.
Fair.
That's what she uses to stir. It's unbelievable. She's rampant.
Russell, I am not happy with you. Do not generalize about me or I won't phone you at night anymore.
God knows how you run it through the dishwasher afterwards. But anyway.
Should we deal with some of our love? Let's deal with some of our lovely...
With TCP in it.
Oh, just stop.
Good Lord.
You're a horrible boy. You're a horrible man.
Who, me?
I've just seen my career go up in smoke, but anyway.
No, you. Hang on, what was that word? Just seen your...
No,
you lost me there, Phil. What was that word you used?
Sarah Ann Russell says, Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Robert Van Buren says, hello, Russ and Phil, and hello, Leslie.
And Leslie.
And Emma Webb says, bonjour, my dearios.
Can I tell you something, you two?
Is that a cereal?
It is. Oh, Cheerios. That's very good.
Cheerios.
That's very good. Emma Webb watches this show religiously. And she, a couple of days ago, said she's filled up, deadly serious, 15 notebooks of notes about our shows. Wowza.
Thank God, Emma, even we haven't done that.
I haven't filled up one. Not one.
Bravo. That's amazing. Maybe, to be fair.
I write notes. One, insult
you don't know whether or not she's actually filling it up with Ofcom complaints, but let's hope not.
Emma Webb's really interesting. But I
do you think Emma would tell us what?
Yeah. What you do?
Why she's making notes on the show?
I think she'd tell you need to complain to your broadband company.
Yeah, what with Leslie, Linda Dave. Do you remember somebody called Linda Dave, Phil? Do you remember anybody called Linda Dave?
I believe I do. What I'm even more fascinated with is that my own mother says, hello, Russ, lovely, and Phil.
Yeah, well, that's the right order, isn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, sure. Look,
Well, I'd be
she's
higher
going
up
to-
the list of
for
priorities,
God's
if I'm
sake,
honest.
your room is now a B&B. That is a major income stream to
No,
to
you know,
Ray
that's
and Phil.
destined to be
You're
storage.
done,
I
mate. You're
promise you.
toast.
Destined
You're
to be storage.
toast.
I've already been asked. I'm not joking. When are you taking your clothes? They want
Of
the
course.
wardrobe. They want the wardrobe.
Of course they bloody do. You've been there 35 years. It's like enough. Bye. We'll see you at Christmas.
Oh, dear.
2024. No rush.
Asa Don Brown says, good day all. Sam Monroe says, hello, good people of the world.
Yep.
And the bad
Mhm.
ones as well. Good afternoon, Russ, Phil, gorgeous Leslie, and all, says Paul Claridge. And Asa says, Russ, you would have loved the town that I lived in Canada. It was a logging and mining town. Good Lord.
Yeah. Croydon.
Wow.
Russ, do something about the noisy ducks. I can't. They're adorable. And they're just like, and it's so gorgeous because outside I got this. It's not like
Heaven help us.
What's the matter now?
Chrissy Richards in Spain is after some sympathy. She says, hello, Russ, Phil, and Leslie.
Oh, careful. You don't know what's happened. Be very careful.
No, I've just read it. I've read it. Don't worry.
No. You don't know what's happened to Chrissy. Oh, there you go. Go on.
No, I do know. Excuse me. I do know.
Okay. All
right. She says 44 in the shade today.
Jesus.
Come and drive here, bloody nutters, especially. Especially now. Come on, Chrissy. We can't even. I know we can't say that, and I'm politically incorrect.
But she's a
says,
woman. She can
bloody nutters, especially women. Really?
But she's a woman.
She does say though that she's off to fly to Birmingham today, and it's because she has her son's funeral on Monday. So of course, Chrissy, once again, we're very sorry.
Chrissy, all of us at Men's Radio Station. I'm sure if I'm allowed to, for once, speak on behalf of Phil and Leslie and Neil Long. We send our deepest condolences to you. Absolute tragedy. And we are so sorry. But please stay in touch. And if there is anything we can do or signpost you to people to help you, because obviously it's not within our bailiwick to do so ourselves, just reach out to us. We'd be honored. Elizabeth Green from New York City.
What's going on with your throat today? Do you know you need your voice to talk on radio? So you had a hot drink going on there. As honest to God, I'm surprised he doesn't know the basics, Leslie.
La 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 la. I don't know. My voice is back.
What's happened?
I don't know. It's the heat. It's affected. And the concert I did last night with the Choral Society of Birmingham. Yeah.
My mother, if I know my mother, she's responding to that earlier revolting suggestion you made of how Leslie stirs her tea. And
no, she loves that. Your mum's a bit of a devil. She sends me lovely messages. You don't know your mum.
Anyway, whilst you're stirring your lapsang souchlong, she says, "Oh my God, yuck."
That's genius, isn't it? Lapsang souchlong. Leslie,
Elizabeth...
come on, that is a great gag.
We lost her. Oh, dear. Elizabeth
David Wimble, the grand fromage of Deluxe Radio. Hi to everybody on Deluxe Radio, all along the south coast of England, all around Kent and everywhere like that. David, now that my hand is better, we can sort out some of the things that we've been planning for about a year. David Wimble, what have I tuned into? You've tuned into Real Radio. It's like, I don't know. Oh. Would you like to read this?
Paul says, Leslie, it's clear that Russ has a one-track mind. All I know is if he ever offers me a cup of coffee, I'll stir it myself.
Yep. I wouldn't even drink it. I wouldn't touch it if he offers you a cup of coffee.
Now, this is good. This brings back a happy memory. I was trying to do my rambling Sid Rumpel. Hello, my dearios. Well, it's that time of year where your turnips need a bit of a turn. Phil's far too young. Leslie will remember. Round the Horn, rambling Sid Rumpel. Of
course I do.
Played by the wonderful Kenneth Williams and Emma.
Round the Horn? Are you talking about the tea again?
Oh, God.
You see, he can be cheeky now that he's not living at home. Now he's got his own
Well,
place.
I'm at home today, by the way.
Where are you now?
I'm at home today.
His own home.
No. I'm at the family house.
Oh, for
today.
God's sake, they're
That
trying to get
Linda
back on their
Dave's
lives.
place.
Yeah, well, Linda and Ray Daves, yes.
But
Get on
why?
with their life.
Why?
Don't
What do you mean,
leave them
why?
alone.
I mean,
I
I
do
know
still
it's.
live here, you know.
I've
I've not moved in yet.
Oh, for goodness sake!
Well,
just
hurry
because
up.
it's Friday and going to be Friday night soon.
Yeah, where
Well,
would be
there's your answer. I'm no fool.
So let's just get this
No,
right.
there
To
is
get
that,
a
I
free
suppose.
meal, to get a free meal, you're not even moving to your new beautiful home. You're hanging around until dinner time. You are
Hanging
shameless.
around. Are you talking about the tea again?
You're such a schnorrer. What a schnorrer.
What?
And Linda and Ray are so generous. It's just a schnorrer. That's what he is.
And please didn't use the full term.
I don't know what the full term is.
Schnorrer dick.
Oh,
I'll keep going until I find one you like. I don't care. Come on, lovely Demisa. You have to admit
Do you
it's
know
mildly
what?
amusing.
Do you know
Well,
what?
do you-
I'm in. Oh, this is great from Azadon Brown in New York State. I'm enjoying this conversation about the different types of food.
Excellent.
That is a belter. That is a belter.
Oh, yeah.
And Simon Rose saying condolences to Chrissy Richards, and Chrissy is
Absolutely.
saying thank you. This you see that now a step too far. This is from Manhattan, not Project Manhattan. I mean in Manhattan. Shall I come and cut the umbilical cord, Phil?
Well, Elizabeth, it's very kind of you to offer that, but don't worry. They've been sharpening the scissors for quite a few years.
Yeah, that's it. Be very, very careful.
It's all right.
Don't fall asleep there on the couch. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm just saying. Just putting it out.
It's fine.
Do you think they go into a private room and go, he's still here? I can't believe he's still bloody here. Say something. I can't, Ray.
David
I can't
Wimble
say
rightly questions, what have I tuned into? Well, do you know what, David? You're
something.
quite right.
I read that. What's the matter with you?
I wasn't
Try
listening.
and keep up. You weren't
Sorry.
listening. If it's
No,
not
I'm
about
sorry.
you, you don't care, do you?
No,
Be
I'm
honest.
sorry.
He doesn't care.
Russ,
yes,
was it
yes, Russ.
Monty Woolley in the film The Man Who Came to Dinner?
Monty, what?
Yes. No, Monty Woolley. Go on. Yes. The man who came to
Yes.
see. Yeah, the man who came to see Monty Woolley.
How very appropriate.
It was-
Well,
Ask me
you
what
wouldn't
I'm
know,
doing.
Phil, because you're too young.
yeah.
I'm a bit young, but it's fine.
Little
At
baby-
the
little
same
baby
time,
face.
I'd like to think we're all too young to know about Henry VIII, but we know about him. So it is possible.
Well,
to
yes,
I always
but that's
love
a
it when you
whole
make that
different
point.
thing. This guy came to tea. I thought it was dinner, Russ, and
The
never
man who
left.
came to dinner.
Yeah,
Was it-
man
was the
who came to dinner. He arrived and he never left.
Sounds like
That
a
is
What is
threat.
Phil.
that
That
thing?
is Phil.
This is a little
Yeah.
cap you put on a plug.
Fabulous.
Oh, why do you keep putting it on your nose?
I don't know. I just
Because he's going swimming. I don't know. Yeah,
just
who
seemed
knows?
to fit. I don't know. I wasn't really I didn't really have any motivation behind this. I just thought I'd try it, and it seemed to work. I think it's a
Do you
good
know,
look.
Even now, your parents are thinking we're going to have to take him to A&E. He's got a bloody plug thing stuck up his nose, a silly sod. We're going to have to sit with him for 7 hours, and we've got things to do.
7 hours. You'd be
what I think-
lucky. That'd be an
Yeah.
express service.
Oh, don't just reminds me of my hand, which is still killing me.
Oh,
ask
don't
me-
go to the
ask-
hand again. Oh, not the hand.
Oh God.
Oh, here we go.
Sympathy is lovely. Thank you very much.
Well,
You're
I'm
very,
sorry,
very kind.
but I did a whole arm. You
Yeah.
know, it's a bit like the blood donor.
Yeah.
You
An armful
did a hand, I did a whole arm and
Oh,
an
yeah.
elbow.
and a scar. That's that.
And a
when
scar,
you
but
showed me
I
the other
don't-
day, and I was like, wow.
Oh bloody hellfire! It's like I
Yeah.
went on the osteo ward for crying out loud. I know.
right.
All right, fine.
All right, baby face.
Elizabeth Green. If we're talking of humour, I saw Billy Crystal in Mr. Saturday Night on Broadway. Laughed till it hurt.
Yeah.
Billy,
That makes
Billy Crystal's
sense.
Billy Crystal's the greatest. Just fantastic.
And apparently he scats in Yiddish.
Really?
Never
Made
understood
up
scat.
Yiddish.
Probably that's just
Oh.
Billy Crystal's so clever. So ask me, because Phil always gets excited. He goes, "It's Friday." Ask me what I'm doing tomorrow.
I know what you're doing, so I'm not playing.
Well, in that case, Russ,
Yes.
on behalf of the listener,
Yes.
what are you doing tomorrow?
I'm so glad you asked. I get up at the crack of dawn, and
Who's
I
Dawn?
drive. Dawn Neeson from Talk TV. I said, Dawn, let yourself out, darling. I go and hire. I've hired a huge van, not like a transit, like van, because the twins are only 24. They can't drive the van from the hire company, right? I then drive to the storage unit, which is miles away. And by the way, you can't drive through the Rotherhithe Tunnel, so you have to do a huge sort of circuit round Tower Bridge. Go figure. But you can drive Range Rovers through
Unless,
and
of
SUVs through, but you can't drive a van through.
You live in northwest London when you don't have to go through that nonsense.
Moving on.
You chose to move, and so far all I've heard,
I love it here.
all I've heard is there's nowhere to get collar,
well, that's
nowhere to get salmon, not
That's
proper
true.
smoked salmon,
That's true. That is true.
and that you got to contend with the Rotherhithe Tunnel. You said
I
you
don't
could do it
mind the
when you
Rotherhithe.
moved there, Mush.
I
So-
like it, Mr. Mush, to use Sonny Jim.
Mr. Mush.
I made you and I can break you. Anyway, then go and load up the
Daily.
furniture with the kids, then come back near and then bring all the bedding, all the stuff, all the new everything, and then drive to the Midlands,
To Birmingham.
near a Coventry,
Oh,
where
dear.
Twin One starts his brand new job. I'm very excited for him, but it's
Ah.
finally. See, here's the thing, Phil. You're 35, still hanging around, desperate for dinner tonight. Twin One,
Is that
24.
desperate?
Boom, gone. Shit. In your
Well,
face.
I like to give these things time. You can't rush
Yeah.
major decisions. Paul Claridge says, Linda, you and Ray have my sympathy. You must have been so excited when Phil announced he was moving out. I haven't announced that. I said I bought somewhere, and I'm moving out.
Oh, you so
He said,
I
if
know
I
exactly
were
what
you,
you're going to rent your new place out. You are so tight. That's what he's going to do. Ray and Linda, you have been absolutely hoodwinked. He's never moving out. He's going to sublet the new place, make
well,
a
I've been
fortune.
served notice, so I don't see what the problem is. Paul goes on to say, if I were you, I'd rent his room out immediately. But don't
Yes.
tell him. He'll soon fly the nest when he creeps into bed one night, comes face to face with a 20-stone hairy truck driver called Barbara. I'll be honest with you, Paul. I know my parents a little too well, and I'm quietly confident they probably wouldn't do that. But don't get me wrong, it's a nice... No, it's a horrible thought, but it's a thought.
Just fantastic.
Barbara? Who
It's
calls a
just-
boy
it
Barbara?
comes
It would
down for
be
breakfast.
easier, wouldn't it just be easier to change the locks?
I like the cut of your
When you
jib,
not have
lovely
quite finished, thank you very much.
No,
indeed.
it's just that Ray and especially Linda are delightful, and they have
Yep.
put up with enough.
I am
Enough's
here, you
enough
know.
now. I'm
Right,
just
Paul
trying to help-
Claridge,
I'm trying to
yes,
help
Phil.
Linda here.
Paul Claridge, yes, Phil. Russ chose to move. He bought a property, and then, unlike you, he actually moved into it.
Yeah, in your face. Ha!
Yeah, but Russ is like old enough
getting
to
a
be
bit-
Phil's dad.
It's getting a
I
bit
could be
brutal
Phil's
now.
dad. That is true. I could be Phil's dad.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Thank God. Now, where was this?
You weren't a milkman about 35 years ago, were you?
I was what?
You weren't a milkman about 36 years ago, were you?
Oddly enough, yes, people still talk about my gold top. Sen Munro, he's a bad
Are you
boy,
talking
though.
about the tea again?
Yes.
He's a bad boy, that Phil. Playing with electrical stuff, he should be grounded till he conducts himself properly.
Oh, come on, that's
Conducts,
good,
you see?
yeah. No.
Conducts himself.
Playing, he should
Oh,
be grounded.
God.
Because with electricity, you have to have what's called a conductor,
Oh,
and that
yes.
means that the energy runs through it.
Give me
And
strength.
so Paul's making a funny because he says that if I conduct, it's got like a double
no,
meaning.
it's
you
Sen.
see.
It's Sen.
Because-
It's Sen who made the joke.
Oh, sorry, it was Sen. Okay, because
Yeah.
that's how hilarious it was. But sorry. So what?
So
What
rude.
Sen's trying to say?
Rude.
Well, what's funny? I'm joking. Anyway, what Sen's
uh.
trying to say is that because of conduct myself in terms of the way I conduct my behaviour and conduct electricity, so it means two things. You see, quite clever.
You there, Leslie?
What's wrong with your throat?
No, well,
I'm listening,
nothing
but
that a 357 hollow point might cause that.
Excuse me, I'm finding the explanation patronising.
No, he's
It's basic
mansplaining.
physics
He's
that even I
mansplaining.
remember from school.
I'm not being
Yeah,
patronising.
well, that's what I said, patronising.
You're mansplaining. That's what you're doing.
Hang
you're
on.
Mansplaining.
I thought
You
radio
are
is supposed to be.
mansplaining.
Excuse me. Radio is supposed to be all inclusive, and if I can't explain to listeners who may not have been lucky enough to receive physics education, then maybe we have to sort of include them.
Next
Okay.
week, How the Universe Began with Professor Philip Dave, Emeritus Professor of Oxford.
It began with a curry, and the next day
Big
there was a
bang.
big bang.
Oh, I'm going to leave in a minute.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to leave. You're just pretending to be offended. You're just
Well,
pretending.
you're right, but I'm really very
Lovely
fed up with
Demeter, you've come up with a hell of a lot worse. I've heard you, so don't try and come to high and mighty with me.
Yeah, but not puns. Very rarely puns. Double meanings, but not puns.
Well,
I
I'm
like
so sorry if my
puns are
double
good.
entendre is not up to scratch, but I'm
I-
trying.
Double
I like
sens. Double
You're not allowed to
sens,
do.
Philip.
You're not allowed to do double entendre anymore. I mean, you know, those carry on film. They kill me. Oh my god! I only have to see a still from one of those films. Puts me in a great mood straight away. You know, any of them, and you just see a still from any carry on film. How do you feel about this, gang? And you hear the voices, you hear Sid James laugh, and it just puts me into the best mood. It's just lovely, absolutely lovely.
Agreed.
I didn't.
I
like
agree.
Sid
Oh well,
James.
okay.
I didn't. I'm sorry. There you go. I loved Charlie Hawtrey. I loved Ken Williams, but I didn't like Sid James.
Wow,
Good
I
lord.
loved Sid James.
He made me feel. It was one of those. Look, he made me feel not quite the same as bad as Michael Gove does, but there was something slimy and creepy about him.
He wasn't like that at all. He was a hugely popular fellow, and everybody loved working with him.
I'm
They
sure.
really liked working with him. He wasn't difficult.
Listen, it's darling. It's all down
Always
to personal taste.
Personal taste. Isn't it interesting? You've struck upon something very, very telling. It's almost like you're not allowed to have personal taste anymore. I always say, you know, comedy is completely personal. If you find it funny, it's funny. If you don't find it funny, it's not funny. And
Absolutely.
you can't then lecture somebody, and we get lectured all the time by every idiot in the world. You can't lecture someone and say, you don't, and it's so patronizing. You don't understand the comedy of so and so. You know, it's genius. And I go, but it's none of it's. I don't find any of it funny. I sit there, it's like listening to a lecture on thermodynamics. It's not funny. And other people who they say, oh, they're awful, and I find them hilarious. Well, that's it. It's an absolutely personal thing, and there's no right and there's no wrong. It's just comedy. That's all there is to it. If you don't like the joke, forget about it. Don't like the joke, have to get into a hissy fit about it. Personally, what do you think?
It's a bit like when people complain about TV programs or radio programs. Guess what? You can switch off.
Switch over, you idiots. Switch over. You've got 500 bloody channels to choose from. It's not like you've got ITV and BBC. You've got two things. You can sit there and moan over your copy of the TV Times. No, you got 500 minimum. You've got endless choice. You have no need to moan and groan. If you don't like it, switch over.
And I have found perhaps one of the worst programs in the world that is so bad, I love it. On Netflix, it's called The Royals. It is absolutely diabolical. It's not about our royal family, but there are parallels, and it is ghastly. You have to watch it because it's so dreadful.
There are some appalling films out there and some appalling shows because they're desperate for content. Now, in case you're wondering, where's the lovely Chantal Ricard's OBE?
Where's the lovely Chantal Ricard's OBE?
She's moved into your new flat and you're never going to get her out, and she's not going to pay rent, and that's all there is to it. I got a lovely email from her. She literally had to dash across to Los Angeles, and she's there.
Make it sound like she's popping to Lidl.
Yeah, well, maybe she was just going to Lidl and pretended she was in Los Angeles. Anyway, she's so sweet because she's really very senior and hugely respected in the industry. And I know we muck about here on Men's Radio, but she's massively respected and has been for many, many years. And she was apologizing. I said, I don't want you. And she said, I'll willingly get up at God knows what o'clock. I said, no, you won't. It's ridiculous. We're so happy that you're part of the show every Friday. Please stop apologizing. It's embarrassing. What's the matter?
Oh
my God.
Message.
Sending them up from LA. Where did that come from?
Aww.
Oh.
Hi, Chantal.
We love Chantal.
Morning. Good evening, Chantal.
Well, hang on. What's the time there? It's 8 hours?
8 hours
7
behind. So, yes, my goodness me, it's like 2 a.m. Gracious me.
God, it's way too early. Chantas, go back to sleep. Please. Isn't that lovely? What a she's just the best. Just the best. Now then. And Baz and Chantas, if you're watching and listening still, Baz sends his very best regards.
Sorry, forgive me. 4 a.m.
4 a.m. jet lag. Oh, the worst. The worst. 4 a.m. It's 4:30 a.m. in LA. You're right. That's our meteorological clock horology expert, Elizabeth Green from Manhattan. There we are. You realize how huge America is because it's much later in New York than it is in LA. There we go. Okay, now, Leslie Demisa, in the absence of the wonderful Chantal Rickards, I know.
Pardon, darling, I have to say before you say anything, I know I'm interrupting you. My bloody talk internet connection is so dreadful that you two keep dropping in and out. Could you repeat what you said, Russell?
I will. I can't believe that Phil Dave just insulted you so badly in front of everyone. I was shocked. How do you feel about that? Over.
He did not insult me, did he?
Well, I don't know. It's up to our audience. I mean, the things he just said about you, I was shocked. It's amazing you couldn't hear it.
Sweetheart, Phil lives up the road. He wouldn't dare insult me because I would go and get him.
Promises.
Oh, don't you start. He's on a promise as well.
I'm a major promise. Anyway, listen, you love going to the theatre.
Yes.
Theatre. What have you seen? Because people like to, and I've got some recommendations for some folks on totally different things, which I'd love, just love to bring to you.
Oh my goodness me.
What?
Sue's late. Good afternoon, guys. I'm late, having woken up from a nap. Did a 6-mile walk on the beach at 6 a.m.
She's homeless. The woman's homeless. She's pretending she's homeless. She just wanders up and down the beach all bloody day.
We'll have to call you Sandy.
I was out in the garden this morning. I've done pruning stuff, cutting, deadheading, doing all sorts of things. And I turned around.
Any trimming?
12. Pardon? What did you say? Oh, God.
Please don't ask him to repeat it.
Okay, don't repeat it. I'm going to talk about theatre. Russ, you can just be quiet. And, oh, look, he's laughing. No,
he's having a right old time there. Are you all right, Russell?
Yeah, fine. Thank you very much.
You need to lie down.
Laughing at his own jokes.
I do. I'm my own best audience.
Me as well.
All right, darling.
Can I just say, I'm with you all the way because I'm absolutely hilarious.
I know your parents would doubt it. Right, you go to the theatre and
the most recent, two recent ones. One is at my favourite theatre in the world, which is the Bridge at Tower Bridge, and it's called The Southbury Child. It's a new play written by a chap called Stephen Beresford, and the fabulous Alex Jennings is starring in it. He is absolutely wonderful. There's also a great actress in it. Well, they're all good, but Phoebe Nichols plays his wife in it. Alex Jennings plays a priest, the most irreverent priest I've ever seen. I don't want to tell you too much about it. There are very dark bits in it, and some of it doesn't quite ring true to his character, the character that he plays in it. But I have never laughed so much in a play that was kind of based on religion and stuff. It is quite fabulous, and I highly recommend it. Lovely play. I'm saying it's lovely. It centers around a child who's died and a funeral, which of course isn't at all funny, but the stuff that happens in it and the priest's stance in it, and his he's irreverent one minute and totally true to his belief in another, but it takes you all over the place, and it's just brilliant. Just to be a part of an audience that was nearly doubled up with laughter for a lot of it. Wonderful, wonderful.
It's a real irony. There's a real irony that Leslie's internet connection is by TalkTalk, because with the connection, we basically struggle to hear you talk.
Well, TalkTalk, let's face it, TalkTalk are crap. Let's just keep throwing that in. I am so angry with them. Oh, Phil, you've got sunglasses on.
Oh my God, Roy Orbison's joined us, ladies and gentlemen. Any way you want it.
Your baby doesn't love you anymore.
I'm not going to talk about the other play then, if you're going to keep interrupting me.
I want to hear about the other play. Phil's arsing around. He's pulling focus because it wasn't about him. Because he didn't go.
How dare you? Excuse me, there was a drop in connection. I was filling the gap. How dare you?
Say that again. I recognise that voice. Mind the gap.
And the other play, Leslie.
Go on, next play.
The other play is at the National. Just opened. It's called Jack Absolute Flies Again. It is based on Richard Brinsley Sheridan's play The Rivals. Now, The Rivals was what was known as a restoration comedy, and one of the main characters in it is a woman called Mrs. Malaprop. Well, Mrs. Malaprop also appears in this version, and she is played by Carolyn Quentin. And the lines she is given are hysterically funny. And they are much more so than Mrs. Malaprop's original Malapropisms. It's very, very cleverly written. It goes into the realms at times of a Brian Ricks farce. The timing on stage is brilliant, but it's set on an RAF airfield in the middle of, I don't know, the middle of nowhere. In the summer of, I think, about 1940, it's meant to be the time of the Battle of Britain and so on. So you have, sort of 12-year-old pilots, because they were running out of pilots. Pilots basically had maybe 2 weeks training, if that, before they were going up in Hurricanes and Spitfires and what have you. And it's all about people falling in love or out of love, and drunkenness and duels and goodness knows what. It is it's silly. Rather than funny, it's silly. I laughed a huge amount. It's very colourful. It's clever. There are lovely bits that the National does so well, where they put in actual film of bombing raids and stuff like that, and the sound effects are brilliant because it's in the Olivier, and you actually have a battle going on around you that's the film is taken right round the theatre. It's wonderful. And if you want to see something silly and don't expect anything particularly intellectual at all, go and see it. It's good fun.
And
not
we need that. We
challenging.
Need that.
I'd recommend it to Phil if he were still in
He's
the
on
picture.
the phone. I can see him because of my control panel. I can see him. He's on the phone.
Oh, is that where he is? Okay. Well, bugger you,
unprofessional. I don't even. I'm going to speak to Rupert and get rid of his career. I've had enough of this. I think we need stuff to just lighten up. That's why we took a decision to. I took a decision really, just to lighten things up on a Friday, because Monday, that means that Monday and Wednesday we can dive deep and deal with some really heavy stuff, but I want people to be able to on a Friday to come along and just kind of relax. If it needs to be serious or whatever, we can always just crank it up a little bit. But finish with your phone call.
I was just thinking, speaking of the National, did you, lovely Demisa, did you ever go and see the Lehman trilogy?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
The best thing I've ever seen.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's coming back in January.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know how the tickets work out, everybody. If you've never seen the Lehman trilogy, I saw it with Simon Russell Beale. And I have to say, it was, I'm going to just go out and say it, the best thing I've ever seen as a play. It was stunning. 3 people in it only.
And that's in London. They did it in Broadway with a huge cast, whereas the 3 people in it, I think it made it so much better.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It was breathtakingly good. I ran
it was
out.
jaw-droppingly good. It was that good.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
I haven't got the adjectives to describe how brilliant it was.
Yeah.
Well, my intention is to go and see it in January because I missed the flipping boat when it was on the first time.
Wow.
Everyone raved about it.
You know, we're
incredible.
talking of lightness and entertainment. Next February, and I've already booked my tickets, at the Bridge, they're doing Guys and Dolls again. And Guys and Dolls is one of the most brilliant musicals. And it's being directed by Nicholas Heitner, who for me can do no wrong. He is a phenomenal director. So that's worth booking for now because the booking is open.
And then
so you don't
need me to do that for you, do you? You realize you've got the same membership as I have.
Yes.
Right, so you don't need me to book it.
But you know what? If anybody wants to come along with me, I bought 2 tickets and I know all the words of all the songs.
Oh God, you'll be singing along, won't you?
I sang along in My Fair Lady, which I'm not recommending.
It was sounding almost promising until then.
I was just about to say, yeah, I'll come along. No, I'm suddenly very busy that day.
How do you know?
I'm washing the air.
How do you know I'm a brilliant singer?
Yeah.
With a voice like this,
I haven't paid a ticket to listen to you. I paid a ticket to listen to the people.
Oh, do you know what? Now, hang on a second. My aunt, who lovely Demisa knows, right?
Oh, okay.
One of the most right. Okay.
Oh, auntie across the road from me.
Yes. Yeah. One of the most exciting moments of my life. Okay, I'm absolutely love Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Okay, to me, they're just a brilliant band. And I was lucky enough to go on a sort of large little family get together and outing to go and see Frankie Valli perform at the Royal Albert Hall. So here was me, right? I found myself sitting next to my aunt, singing along quite happily to one of my favorite songs, right? One of the highlights of my flipping life, okay? Because I love it. It's the Frankie Valli song, My Eyes Adored You, is one of my favorites, okay? So there was me, happily belting along with it. And she turned to me and she said, I paid to come and see him, not listen to you. Ruined the moment. Like that. Bang. One of the highlights of my life until that split second.
I didn't realise, when you said it's one of your favourite songs, I didn't realise that Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons had done a song like, which was called I'm Never Leaving Home, Even Though I've Got a New Flat.
Yes.
When did they release that? Sort of 66, 67? I can't remember. Yeah.
Re-release 22.
And then they had another huge hit with I'll Hang Around Till Dinner Time So I Can Get a Free Dinner. That was a fabulous tune. Loved that tune. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Wow.
They're fantastic. Why does that not... This is a little bit of a I don't know the person involved, but I can see that Phil's mum, she's so wonderfully local today. Why does that not surprise me?
What? Well, I think she probably means... she probably means that it doesn't surprise her. I was singing along.
No, it doesn't surprise the lady in question said, could you shut up, basically. 2 things that I would be delighted to put your way. I know it's quite random, but every now and then just have the space to just recommend some stuff. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. And if you don't worry about it. One is a series of books by a man called Christopher Fowler. And if you like whodunits, but with a quirky twist, Christopher Fowler writes a series of books of 2 detectives called Bryant and May. Everything is set in London.
Wasn't he in Queen?
Oh, Brian May.
No, he was a Matchbox.
Matchmaker. Anyway, it's very funny that he's chosen to call them Bryant and May. It's all set in London. I came across the first one purely by chance because I read a review and I love thrillers and whodunits. And it's very quirky, very different, absolutely wonderful. Bryant and May. And the sad thing is, I often write to Christopher Fowler on Twitter and say how much I enjoy his books. And I thank him for, giving me so much pleasure and enjoyment through his writing. And he's a youngish guy. And he's got cancer. And this week, he wrote his last blog. He said, this is it. This is my last blog. I've just had confirmation from the doctors, and that's it, folks. So I'm going on holiday with my husband. He went off to Italy, somewhere very nice, and he's spending whatever little time he's got left with his husband and on holiday and just trying to make the best of it. So it's terminal. That's it. He's fought it. He's done his best. So there's a sort of a horrible sweet and sour, the sweetness of the magnificence of his writing in the books. They're very light, but they're hugely enjoyable. Any of the Bryant and May books you'll enjoy. And as an audio book, they're wonderful. And the other thing, if you enjoy listening to sort of plays for about 45 minutes, I came across some time ago, and I'm absolutely addicted to it. It's on BBC Sounds, which is the only part of the BBC I actually would pay for. And it's called McLeavy, and it's set in Edinburgh in about 1700 and something or other. Features the magnificent Brian Cox as James McLeavy, Inspector of Police. Every week's a case, but it's the characters.
Wait, Brian Cox is in him off the telly, the stargazing and stuff.
No, there's two of them, Phil.
Oh.
Your one's a professor, this one's a writer, but
one's
an actor.
Yes, one's a professor who used to be in D Ream. Remember that? Things Can Only Get Better. That was Brian Cox before he became a brain box. And the other is Brian Cox, who played the original Hannibal Lecter in the first film. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so it's absolutely fantastic. It's called McLeavy. It's on BBC Sounds. It's just a great series. Up to series 12 now. It was made a few years back. Just if you fancy something a little bit different, just putting it.
It's a strange name, McLeavy.
Yeah. Well, he's up there, and he's very, he's very different in the way he tries to solve each crime. And of course, he doesn't obey any rules naturally, but it gives you a real flavour of what life was like in Leith and Edinburgh in the 1700s and how life was. So it's beautifully, beautifully acted, beautifully done. BBC Sounds. There you go.
He lives next door to the McCohens, and it's set in Golders Greenock.
That's the one. The Crime of the Missing Bagel. My name is James McLeavy. I'm Inspector of Police. It's really good. It's very charming and beautifully done. Beautifully done. And they're great stories. Anyway, that was it. Just thought occasionally.
Shabbat Shalom.
How to ruin a moment.
What?
You just I'm not going to see the Lehman trilogy with you, because every time he says Baruch Hashem,
you're going
to be standing up going, Baruch Hashem. And he says it every other line.
Does he?
It means greetings, blessings to God. What does it mean? Praise to God, blessings to God.
Blessed be God.
Blessed be God. I can't tell you how good the Lehman trilogy
is.
And
please, you know this. Can you go back to Scotland? Don't know. Have you got time before the end of the show?
To Scotland and authors. Well, quickly. I mean, not on the train, obviously. Alexander McCall Smith, another fabulous writer.
Yes,
writes a series, the Scotland Street series, which are delightful, light, funny, and again, fabulous characterization in the books. I read the whole series ages ago, and they're lovely, just lovely light reading. There you go.
It's good because for mental health, I know if I hadn't, in all seriousness, and I've said this publicly, if it hadn't been for my audiobooks, I would have gone during lockdown absolutely even worse than it affected me. I'll be absolutely honest with you. Just walking Ebony the Mini Schnauzer, listening to the stories, it's bliss. It puts me into a wonderful sort of zen-like state, and I really enjoy it.
It really irritates me that I don't have enough time to read as much. I mean, I know that it's a pathetic cop-out and one should make time. But the problem is that when I do actually have time, I'm normally so knackered that I actually sort of find it a real effort to really try and concentrate.
I don't read. That's why I use the audio books, because if I'm in the car...
I prefer a physical book.
I'm on the tube, I'm on the train, I'm in the car. I'm just listening to the books. And so I can get through loads of books. If I had to sit down and physically read, it wouldn't happen. I'd be asleep.
I will say...
Go on, yes. Philip.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say that I will say that I'm, at the moment, I am currently sort of worming my way through the Harry Potter books, because I realise that sort of, although I've seen the films, I've never actually read the books. No. Lovely Demeter, you can turn your nose up. I have to say, whatever you think of the franchise and whether way the Americans have turned it into this commercial enterprise, actually, the writing seriously
I like
is
the books a
incredible.
lot. I really, really enjoy. Apart from the end books, as they got fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter, I thought, oh God, this needs desperately trimming. It was just so long. But the earlier books, I was totally glued. I enjoyed them thoroughly, and I don't care who knows about it.
No, and I'm not knocking them, Phil. Please don't get me wrong. It's the thought of reading that bigger book. When Stephen Fry read the first one on Boxing Day that year that he did it, I was enchanted by it. So, the trouble with me is I went to see the first one as a film and fell asleep, which says an awful lot about me in the cinema.
Kids couldn't act. I mean, let's just be honest. The kids couldn't act. The American kids can act. Act unbelievably. English kids are just terrible. I'm sorry.
I know it wasn't the acting. It's dark and warm in a cinema, so I drop off to sleep.
Dark and warm.
Dark and
warm in the cinema.
You're not talking about the tea again, are you?
What happens if you go to a romantic dinner and it's kind of low? Well, I can't have to get my phone.
It's not dark and warm, and I'm interacting. Then I try not to interact in the cinema because people get cross if you chat.
Do they? Who thought that? They're too busy eating because they've got to sit for 90 minutes in a room.
Oh, with bloody popcorn.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, you know what you were saying, lovely Demeter, about the thought of reading the thicker books. One of the thickest books I've ever read was, which is technically cheating because it's 3 in 1, but is the Phew trilogy, and that's Gerald Durrell's sort of little autobiography thing. And honest to God, I went through that, reading it night after night religiously in about 3 months. Couldn't put it down. Absolutely amazing.
I got a question for you both. And to everybody watching and listening around the world. When you finish a book, whether it be Audible or as a printed book, and you've really invested your time and you've loved it, do you feel a sort of, and it's over and you think it's horrible?
Definitely.
Yeah, I hate it.
Definitely, total anticlimax.
Absolutely,
and that's what it was for me after Phew trilogy.
Yeah.
Getting towards the end of a book, if I'm loving it, I will read less and less at a time because I want to drag it out. And when it's finished, I just think, oh no. So
it's the greatest compliment. It's the greatest compliment you can pay to a writer, that you do that. Here we go. Azadon Brown from New York State. Leslie? Azadon Brown posted some pictures of where he lives, and I know you and Phil didn't hear this. I've never seen anything like it because you can't. You see to the horizon, which is like forever away. There's not another building in sight. I don't know where the hell. I know you're in the northeast United States, Asa, but the views are beyond belief. While I enjoy the tactile experience of a good book, I have appreciated the convenience of audiobooks. Audiobooks are great if you get the right narrator, because they can just make it pop. Get a bad narrator, I can't. I'm after 10 minutes, the book's finished. Can't do it because you realize you got like 12, 14 hours of this person. No, thank you. But a great, talented narrator is fabulous.
I've just looked up. Apparently, Phew trilogy, 1,003 pages.
Okay. Have you read Ulysses?
I tried. I told you, joking aside, I thought, well, I've got to do this. One of the bucket, I gave up. I just wasn't interested. I thought, I'm not enjoying this. And I think you get to a stage in life when you can say, I don't care if everyone says it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not enjoying it.
No, but Molly's soliloquy is worth reading, although very difficult because there's no punctuation, but it's filthy.
Oh, I'll read that then.
Have you ever gone back and read any of the books that you were taught at school? Because I tell you why I say this, because I started going back over Great Expectations and I found that it was ruined for me because it just took me straight back to the classroom and I couldn't carry on.
Yes.
I absolutely agree with you. And the worst thing for me and don't forget, I was an English teacher. The worst thing any teacher can do is make the kids read round the class, because if they're not confident or they're not fluent, it just ruins it. I even taught secondary and read to my students. I would actually read to them rather than them suffer. But Phil, no, I haven't gone back to any of the books.
I went back to my favourite Dickens,
Starting.
the Pickwick Papers, which I like its coziness. I know everyone's thinking, you read Dickens? You're an idiot. Yes, I do read Dickens. And the Pickwick Papers for me is just it just feels cozy and it's quite, it's quite wild.
I think on my read list though, I'm going to add Animal Farm because I would like to read that as an adult.
That is a short book. It's a short book, and what a clever book as well. My God.
Yes. The trouble is, for me, having, in inverted commas, taught a lot of them more recently for GCSE, it's awful for the kids if I don't like the book because they pick up on it, but I will share with them why I don't like it. For instance, I loathe Jekyll and Hyde. I absolutely loathe and detest it, and Frankenstein. They're such heavy going. You shouldn't make children read this stuff. It's depressing and miserable on blech.
Didn't it depend what mood you were in with Jekyll and Hyde?
No, stop it.
Do you know the great thing is about these books is that when they're made into movies and they're very, very exciting and thrilling and when you're hiding behind the cushion, it's all great. But when you actually read the original books, and of course none of it would have happened had Mary Shelley et al. And Bram Stoker written these books. And they were young when they wrote them, by the way. Everyone thinks there's some old fuddy-duddy. No, these were young kids writing these books. They are heavy going. Absolutely heavy going. This is your mum.
Oh,
here she
did
goes.
Animal Farm for O level.
GCSE. Yeah, Animal Farm. What we got here? Facebook. Some light relief. Work and heat. It's been hard this week. Hiya and hello to you, mystery Facebook users. You'll be watching on the
Espresso bar.
Espresso bar. Yes, indeed. So I hope we've been helpful to you, and we love all your recommendations and things like that, because sometimes it puts us into areas that we wouldn't normally do, and you suddenly think, this is marvelous, or no, it's not for me. And that's okay. That's okay. It's not time wasted. It's time that you've looked at something and you think, just don't fancy it. The end. Oh, Lee. Hello, Lee. Hello. I hope everything's all right. I have not forgotten. When you're ready to come on, Lee, just reach out to me and we will get you on, because I know you've got a lot to say and we want to have a proper in-depth conversation with you. I'll leave it at that anytime you want. So that is it. That is it. I have the greatest satisfaction in that Twin 1 finally has a proper grown-up job. I'm so pleased for him. He's fulfilled his dream. And his dream since he was a little boy was to be an engineer in the automotive industry. That's all he ever wanted to do. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to be senior engineer at Jaguar Land Rover. I can't tell you.
Are you going to get staff discount? Does this mean we're going to see you whizzing around in an F-Pace?
The first thing we asked, any discounts on any of those? And he said, well, yeah. And then he told us the percentage, but they're so expensive. They're so expensive. If you gave me 80% discount, I still couldn't stop.
I could see you whizzing around a nice little F-Pace.
Oh, God, yes, please. That's great. I'm very excited for him. I really am. It's so amazing when your dreams come true, you know. And it was a real struggle. I'll talk about it another day, but never give up.
Can I tell you, this is how, right? You know what you were saying about like moving out and finding your own place. This is how I know I've grown up. This week, are you ready for this?
Yeah, go on.
I bought myself a Henry Hoover.
Oh my goodness! Do you know the story of the vicar and the Henry Hoover?
Yeah,
I was actually quite happy.
He didn't even stop. I wouldn't have minded. He didn't even stop.
I know.
Henry Hoovers are very good. We had to go to Curry's.
Great suction on Henry.
Nothing sucks like an Electrolux. Then I usually finish with a joke about a friend of mine, but I can't do it. I went into. We got. Have you seen the price of Hoovers? Price of Hoovers like 450.
It's taken an hour. It's taken an hour, and we finally cracked lovely Demeter. There we go.
There we go. It was worth doing. Leslie, thank you so much. Phil, all the best with your new home. I hope you're very happy. As and when in the next.
As and when I can be bothered to move in.
5 years you bother to leave. We will be back on Monday. in a more serious vein as normal, but we just like to kind of chill out a little bit on a Friday. And if you're enjoying that, that's great. If you'd like us to be more serious, just let me know, and we can.
And we'll
adapt it
ignore.
for you. No, we won't. We listen to what we listen to the feedback. Have a
Have a
lovely
good
weekend,
weekend.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye, gang.
Bye.